Hello and welcome back to the MMA Split podcast. I'm Matt.
I'm Josh.
And we are without Sly again. He is going off for, can you believe it, another festival. This guy is having so much fun, it's ridiculous. He's going to Belgium, he's going to be away for a week. He is still here at the time of recording, but he's not going to be watching the fights because he's going to be listening to some loud techno music. So just me and Josh to break down UFC Vegas 37, Ryan Spann versus Anthony Smith. Although I really should have said that the other way around based on the ranking.
Yeah. Well, and everything. Quick fact, the lion's heart is actually proportionately a smaller body percentage of their body mass than a human heart. Fact.
So what you're saying is to call somebody a lion heart is to actually say that they have a smaller heart than normal.
It's to say you're being more poetic than literal. Yeah. Because I assumed the lion's hearts were like some fucking behemoth of an organ. I was going to knock up a little like Instagram post for us, but unfortunately it was just quite a depressing fact. I didn't want to tweet that about Anthony Smith.
Well, a lion is still a bigger creature. A lion is still a bigger creature than a man, though. So even though its heart is proportionally smaller, by a man's comparison, it's still a bigger heart.
Yeah, but we're clutching at straws at this point. The science just doesn't look. The mathematics just doesn't look good. I suppose if I knew what they weighed, maybe I could have done it that way. Didn't think about it.
That's a good point. But counter argument to that, just something to consider. Does that mean that if you see a fighter who gives himself the cage name of the Manheart, you're going to be like, holy shit, that guy looked up the lion fact?
Nah, I'm going to assume it's some weird serial murder type thing. That's what it sounds like. It sounds atrocious. Like, when Ronda Rousey's the arm collector, makes sense. You understand it. But if you're like, my name's Human Heart, it's like... Sounds like some Jeffrey Dahmer style nonsense there. I don't know.
There was some boxing over the weekend, if you can call it that. I would not call it boxing. And in fact, legal California state commissions also agreed that they weren't happy to consider it boxing, which is why they didn't license Evander Holyfield to box in this match. This was a sideshow, freak show between a 58-year-old man who was taking the fight on short notice against a guy who is as steroided up gets. Vitor Belfort looked like TRT Vitor from the days of yore in the UFC. And quite frankly, we didn't want to talk about this. We didn't want to give it any publicity, any press. I'm not saying we would have made a difference. This is a small channel, but just out of principle. Now that it's happened, I can say this. It was nice to see Anderson Silva look like Anderson Silva. Aside from that, the whole thing was a colossal waste of time. Donald Trump was Donald Trump. To be honest, he was the most expected thing really from this. He was just Donald Trump. He was what you expect. It was a little weird seeing Masvidal sit next to him and do commentary for 20 minutes as well. I was almost waiting for a moment where Donald Trump said to him, hey man, you should meet my friend Colby. I think you guys would be good friends, tremendous friends. But that didn't happen. Very disappointing. And the main event was a freak show. It looked like a steroided up freak beating up a 58-year-old man for a minute and a half. And then the fact that I don't know if you saw this, but as soon as he gets the win, his whole family are in tears and he's crying and cheering as if he's beaten fucking Evander Holyfield from the 90s. And you just kind of look at it and think, read the fucking situation, man. Like, fair enough. Maybe you can tell yourself he's still Evander. Maybe he's still got it, all the rest. But once you realize that this is an old guy who's literally losing balance as he's trying to throw his own punches, you could have fucking coasted that. You could have jabbed and made it an exhibition and not really hurt the guy and still clearly won. And you made a choice that you were just going to go through him.
Is it his fault? They put a 58-year-old in front of him. I mean...
It's a lot of people's fault.
Yeah, I think I'll blame Evander Holyfield more than I'd blame Vitor.
Well, I blame the commissions. I blame Triller. The fact that it got rejected in one state and they had to make it an exhibition bout of 2-minute rounds just to get it cleared in Miami, in Florida. says everything you need to know. And then the two Triller guys afterwards, one of them had his shits a little bit together. They were trying to say that they're putting up a 30 million bounty of 30 million pot for Jake Paul to fight Vitor Belfort, winner take all. And one guy is calmly saying this until the other guy, who he's saying it's going to be 25 million. And then a guy who seems so fucked out of his mind, he's clearly the other guy at Triller, just suddenly grabs a mic and says, okay, it's fucking 30 million, motherfucking 30 million, winner takes all, you're a pussy, Jay, all this kind of stuff. And it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, you guys are the organizers of this. And it was weird. Sean Porter was there, 50 Cent was there. It was bizarre. It felt wrong. I wish I hadn't watched it. I did. I feel dirty as a result, and that's all we need to say.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of this. I had a good weekend, so
yeah, I'm happy for you.
Apologize for I think any weekend where you're, subjected to Triller isn't a great weekend.
No.
They'll be broke soon, and when I hear about the pools, fuck it.
On to UFC.
Yeah, man, it was tough having no MMA at all last weekend.
It was weird.
I'm pretty fucking excited. We haven't just got UFC, we've also got Bellator this weekend. Man, I'm kind of hyped up. I think we haven't got the biggest cards. Like, it's not the most name value, but got Anthony Smith fighting, got Yoel Romero fighting, Saul Rogers is fighting for the Brits that love following British fighters. And although there isn't like a shit ton of name value here, there are some pretty good fucking fights and some real lights out fighters fighting. I'm excited.
It's an interesting card. It's a real card for the purists, though. Like you say, not a lot of big names, but if you're watching the undercard, if you're paying attention over the last year, you're going to see a lot of fighters that you like, a lot of good matchups. There is one fight, though, that I look at and think there is no reason for you to be on the main card. And then there's a fight on the prelims I look at and think there is no reason for that fight to be on the prelims. They need to...
Let me call it.
Go for it.
Pani against Rocky. You don't like it on the prelims.
Nope.
And I'm going to guess it's probably Lipsky Bomb, but I'm thinking you might not like Sarukian with the late notice Giagos coming in.
I'm in Sarukian's a beast, man. I have no issue with that. I have no issue with them dropping him out.
Giagos is no bum either. He's not hack for us, but still. Like,
yeah.
They got the best that they could get to fill the slot.
Yeah. No, that fight I've got no issue with. Listen, I like the Queen of Violence. Ariana Lipsky, I have a lot of fun watching her fight. But in reality, she's coming off, what, a 2-3 fight losing skid right now?
2, I think.
2. And
was it Antonina and...
Antonina Shevchenko, and she had a more recent one where she got dominated.
Yeah. De La Rosa.
These weren't close fights, and she's up against a newcomer who I think is undefeated. So my assumption is that they're trying to prop her up. But Pani Kianzad is, she's doing really well. This is a fight to really sort of get themselves the winner back in title contention, or as a bona fide contender. In a division where it only takes a couple of wins to become relevant again. So I just don't see how that isn't third fight down on the card.
Yeah. No, I was a bit surprised that one was on the prelims. It's not like it's a pay-per-view card and you want to have a big fucking headliner on the prelims to kind of inspire people to buy.
It's not even the headliner of the prelims.
Is it? Oh, is what we got? I haven't seen the actual split, but I'm guessing it's like Slow Mike against Nchukwi is the headliner of the prelims. Okay.
And that fight I get. You want to get people in for the prelims, you put that fight on. I have no issue with that. But then to have Pennington and Kianzad blow her down. And then I was thinking about this. It's not like it's going to be a boring fight. They're strikers.
Nah, yeah.
They're strikers who don't mind getting hit. This is going to be a really good fight. It is what it is. I've said my piece. Let's talk about the main event because, I'm a big Anthony Smith fan. I love this guy. I like him in the cage. I like him outside of the cage. There's very little not to like about him. He started fighting professionally before he knew how to fight. He's the definition of learnt on the job. He's had over 50 fights. And only now is he saying, like, yeah, I actually think now I'm getting to the point where I actually would have been ready to do this shit for real. It's like, fuck, man, you've had a lot of impressive wins for a guy who's learning on the job.
Yeah. A lion's heart weighs 1.175 grams. It just doesn't carry enough weight. It wasn't cool enough. Man, he is a fucking beast, for real. And, after kind of struggling a little bit at middleweight, being a great fighter, but, not being a clear contender at middleweight, makes the unorthodox move, around the same time as Romero as well. Moving up to light heavyweight, going on an absolute tear. And if he wasn't such a goddamn gentleman, he would have been a champion. He let John Jones off the hook on an illegal strike that, frankly, no one hates him for it, but he didn't have to do that. And John Jones didn't deserve that kind of charity. Let's be frank. Man, this guy's a beast. Always exciting. There have been the Alexander Rakic fight. There have been hiccups, but
he took that fight way too short a notice after the Glover fight.
Yeah, after a fight where you're picking teeth out of your mouth mid-fight, you want to have a little bit of a layoff. But fucking hell, man, it's Lionheart. I'm pretty jacked up for this. And Ryan Spann, I don't underestimate him. I think he's got a lot of room to grow as a fighter. But Jesus Christ, that fight with Johnny Walker, how'd you have a back and forth fight in 2.5 minutes like that with a glass-jawed guy like Walker and come out the wrong end of it? It's the fight game. Anything can happen, but we weren't impressed when we broke that fight down.
He bounced back well from that, though. From that. Who did he fight again? Was it Misha Serkinov?
Yeah, he beat Serkinov. Was there another one in between? No, it was literally straight after the Walker fight, nothing else. So yeah really,
really good in that Serkinov fight. So I think that he's a dangerous guy. He's a contender series guy. He's done well since he's been in the UFC. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think Johnny Walker's his only hiccup in the UFC so far. Is that correct?
No, he lost his debut to Carl Roberson. Well, actually, that was on Contender Series. So the first time he was on Contender Series, he lost. Second time he was on Contender Series, he wins. So yeah, within the UFC, Johnny Walker's his only hiccup. But at the same time, I'd say like Little Nog, over the hill Little Nog's kind of his only big win. Serkinov and Sam Alvey, they're good fighters. They are good fighters. But there's nothing on his CV and nothing in his performances that really jumps out to me and says that he's at the same level as Lionheart. Lionheart only really loses to genuine top-level guys. And I just don't believe Ryan Spann's quite there. I think he's got enough power to hurt Anthony. He's not a spring chicken, I just don't think that Anthony Smith, he's a weird guy, He is so smart. He has such a high fight IQ, but he is the furthest thing from a point fighter. And just has this truly competitive, violent mentality that puts him head and shoulders above a guy like Spann. I just think that his ability to mix up the ground game with the striking, which is what I'm anticipating in this fight, I think he's going to want to show Spann that he can't just wind up and land a big shot in the stand-up, but really just do enough to get some takedowns. And my hope is that, Anthony keeps a cool enough head to just try and submit this kid or just beat the fuck out and put him away with some ground and pound, because that seems to me to be like his kind of clear path to victory. Take all of Ryan Spann's kind of strength and power and explosiveness away and just put him in deep waters with a gritty vet. And I just don't like Spann's odds in this fight. Yeah. How are you seeing it?
Well, I think if we're talking in terms of ways to win, Anthony Smith has got a lot more ways to win. I think he's a much more dynamic fighter as well. Like, you look at the fight with Jimmy Crute, I can't help but feel that if he was able to avoid the dangers that Jimmy Crute offers, I don't feel like he's going to look at Ryan Spann as much of a threat. Like, I thought that Jimmy Crute fight was going to be, I thought I picked him to win that, but I thought that's a top 10 guy. He's not ranked a top 10 guy right now. I don't see that with Ryan Spann. I think he's slow. It's not that he's too slow. It's just that he's not dynamic on his feet. He's got fast hands, but
he
doesn't cover.
Fights slow.
He fights so he doesn't cover distance very well. You know, you look at, I know Sam Alvey can make a lot of guys look average, even if he loses to them. But it was just very slow in that fight. And, you know, Anthony Smith, when he's on point, when he's actually ready and had a proper training camp and hasn't taken a Rakic fight 2 months after his teeth are falling out, he's fast on his feet. He's dynamic. He's got a really good jab. He's long, you know, really long guy. You don't think so because he came up from middleweight, but, you know, he's not always got the size in terms of weight against these guys, but he's usually the longer fighter. And I just see him using leg kicks, keeping everything at the end of his jab. He knows that if the distance gets closed too much, he's got the grappling, you know, he can, if he gets put on his back, he's got the submissions. And he's a competitor. I just think that in a 5-round fight, he's going to find a way to win, as long as he doesn't get too damaged doing anything stupid. But I mean, let's be realistic here. I mean, I know he got caught by Glover. And obviously the second half of that fight was pretty atrocious, but first round and a half, he was piecing Glover up. And Glover
and Teixeira's fighting for a belt for a reason. So
the guy hits hard. The guy hits like a Mack truck. He is the kind of guy that if you fuck up and eat a counter shot, you're fucked for rounds. For rounds afterwards, you're just fucking destroyed. And you haven't got the grappling to go to. Spann hits hard, but unless he puts Anthony lights out, I don't see him really kind of like cracking him and being able to do enough damage and being able to follow up afterwards if he does get him hurt. I think this is Smith's to lose. I think he probably gets it by decision. I'm going to say TKO just so that we've got some separation. For Spann, I think they're doing this a little bit.
I'm not picking decision, by the way. I'm picking sub.
No. That's what I said. I said TKO to separate you from submission.
Oh, okay. I thought you might thought I was going decision. I know he hasn't been submitted since Robert Drysdale, which fair play, bit of a specialist there. But I think, you know, Smith has very long legs. He has a long frame, but I feel like he has very long legs. He has good low kicks, good body kicks. And frankly, if a kick gets countered and the fight goes down to the mat, it's just more good for Smith. He has so many ways to get the fight to the ground, offensively and defensively, effectively. Yeah, man. I'm interrupting you there because I thought you were calling me on a decision, but
no. If I was going to say
submission, we're both saying finish.
They're doing this a little bit too much, I think, at the moment with the light heavyweights, where I think they're so desperate to get some young blood in that as soon as a guy's looking a little promising, they're feeding him to a top 10 guy. And I think some of it's a favor to Anthony Smith. I think they really like Anthony Smith. I think they like the idea of starting him with building his getting him on a win streak, getting some buzz again, getting his confidence up before he goes down. But for Ryan Spann, I just think this is a tough fight, man. You know, I don't know if he's ready for an Anthony Smith. I think there's other guys that I know he beat Misha Serkinov, and maybe you view that as the entryway, but
I don't.
Yeah, it didn't work out well for Johnny Walker in the end.
No.
Johnny Walker's about to fight Thiago Santos in a couple of weeks. Like, Jesus Christ, who the fuck did you piss off with that matchup?
I know, right? I'm kind of excited for it though.
I'm excited. But
you never know with Walker what's going to fucking happen.
This is true. It's
kind of like Michelle Pereira, but, you know, for people that actually like MMA. Just that irrational bundle of physical talent, but just not fighting like a dickhead, but poor defense and no chin. So, yeah, at least Pereira could take a punch. I'll give him that.
This is true. Yeah, I think this is just going to be a setback for Spann, and I think Anthony Smith is the wrong guy to look at in that top 10 and think that you can take him on. I think a Volkan fight, somebody like that would have been a better style matchup for Spann, but it is what it is. Let's move on to the co-main event. Very excited for that one though. Talking about wild guys, where okay, maybe not unexpected. You kind of know that the wild guy is going to be a wild guy. We've got Ion Kutilaba taking on Devin Clark. This was an interesting one. I mean, both of these guys coming off losses. Devin Clark obviously lost to Anthony Smith. A couple of fights back for Anthony, but one fight back for Devin Clark. And Kutilava's been on a rough road. He had the whole fucking double piece header with Ankalaev that didn't really work out in his favor. He got the...
No. Sorry, I enjoyed those fights thoroughly.
They were fun.
Kutilaba.
But he had the whole situation with the weigh-in and then the draw against, was it Dustin Jacoby?
Yeah, who I'm really starting to rate, you know.
Yeah, so I look at that and I think, okay, there's something there. Devin Clark is another guy I think they've just shot up the rankings a little bit too quickly. I don't think he might win, but I think he's the kind of candidate to get knocked out by Kutilaba. He's going to wrestle a lot. He's going to have to close the distance. God bless him. He's not the most, he's not the largest of light heavyweights in size and frame. He's got the weight, but I could see Kutilaba knocking him out here.
I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? I've got Kutilaba KO written down here. That's what I'm predicting. But it's just this little bit of me that's like, what if he comes out like he did in the Jacoby fight? Like, I'm an MMA fighter all of a sudden.
And tries to take him down, yeah.
Yeah. Either way, I'm pretty sure Kutalaba's winning this fight. It's just, you know, is he just going to find a new way to disappoint me? I'm kidding. You win the fight, however it's safe for you to win the fight. That being said, watching Kutilaba take guys down and doing lay and pray is just so off-brand. It's ridiculous. It's not what he does.
Well, it's obviously not what he does. He got tired very, very quickly. Like, it clearly isn't what he does.
Well, I feel like in every fight, you know, he does get tired. He has such a big frame. He's such a muscular guy. I think it's just hard for him to do 5 minutes of anything without getting tired.
Yeah.
Still, I do like the heart and the energy sometimes. That first Ankalaev fight, I thought he very much got what he deserved. And then the second fight, like, really shouldn't have got back in there with him, whatever. This, you know, he has been exciting at times. And man, I'm hoping, I'm praying, I'm predicting a highlight knockout.
I am predicting a knockout. I don't know if it's going to be a highlight. Come on, Kutilaba. You might get cut if you lose this. I want to see the Hulk makeup. I want to see some fucking Hulk makeup and some crazy shit at the weigh-ins. It sounds harsh. I just don't. There's something I don't like about Devin Clark. It's not that he does anything bad. It's not that he's unlikable. He's just I don't want to say vanilla because I like vanilla. He's just a bit, you know, he's there. He's all right.
Hey, they haven't pushed him yet. We haven't seen his star shine. All right, untapped potential. I know what you mean, though.
I don't think it's a star, man. I think it's like a moon.
Yeah, all right. Either way, Kutilaba is a fucking moron. I still think he's gonna win. Like, fuck it. Let's man. There's a few here that I don't want to pick just because I don't understand them too much. But let me just ask you this at this point. We've got 15 fights booked currently. We've never done the pick show this early ever.
Oh, some of these are falling off.
Yeah. How many fights do you think we're actually going to have come Saturday?
I'm going to say
over under at 12.
I think we'll have over 12. But I was going to say 13.
13? I think we're going to lose more. You need to make sacrifices to the MMA gods, and they're a thirsty bunch.
True, but I think so let me clarify this. In terms of fights lost, I think 2. In terms of fights that don't end up being the lineup that we've currently got, I think more.
Okay.
But here's the logic. We've got more, yeah. If you combine the things, we've got a lot of light heavyweights, 2 bantamweights, 3 bantamweights, 2 lightweights, and I think 1, 2, and 3 flyweights. So you've got enough weight classes with similar people fighting that aren't necessarily all miles above or ahead of each other in terms of current levels. So if one person falls off and then somebody else falls off, you can kind of do a little bit of gluing together. I'll say 12. I'm going to literally take on the nose. I'd say 12. 3 fights lost. We're recording this on Tuesday, so a lot could go wrong.
Yeah, I hope not though. There's enough fun fights on this one.
Can we
Mandy
talk?
Bomb though, I don't know. I don't know who this Mandy Bomb is too well. Not familiar with her.
Who
Ariana
is the
Lipsky.
bomb?
Oh, I bet Decepticon. La Tigre, bro. Hell yeah. Um, Ariana Lipsky sometimes looks like she might be a promising fighter, but then you put her against anyone halfway good. She's 2-4 in the UFC, and those losses: Joanne Coldwood, fair enough. Montana De La Rosa, fair enough. Antonina Shevchenko. Now, really, it's more the way she lost to Shevchenko that makes you go, that's not very impressive. And also Meatball Molly McCann, you know,
Yeah.
who is kind of a limited fighter. So I'm not super excited for this one. I don't want to be unfair to him. It's just I don't know who Bomb is, and Lipsky just underwhelms me. I really don't know how to pick this one, Matt. Have you got any insight on this one, or
So you
kind
know
of?
that rule that I break constantly about
Yeah,
not picking
if you don't
fighters
know
that I
him,
don't.
don't pick him.
Yeah, and then I break this rule constantly. I feel like I'm trying to work out the logic here. This is the third fight on the card. We got a lot of great female fights that are on this card that we can talk about that probably should be in this spot instead of these two.
Yeah,
My logic of this is thinking, well, okay, maybe Mandy Bomb, undefeated, 7-0, and a 1-no contest. Maybe she's a name they're really trying to push. Maybe she's done something. Maybe she's been in a promotion. She really made a name for herself. She's young. Any of this kind of stuff. She's 32. She's from Germany. I'm sure she's doing well, but I haven't heard anybody hyping her. Like, I haven't heard anybody saying this is a name to watch out for. This is, I'm trying to look up what actual promotion she used to fight in.
Bellator most recently, and I have no idea which specific camp in Dublin, but she trains out of SBG Island. So I don't know if that means working with Kavanagh or if that means
Okay.
working with like one of the offshoots. But I mean, that was a camp that was very, very promising, split in every which possible direction. Team KF was previously SPG Swords. They already had like two UK locations and like 3 or 4 in Dublin at the peak of it. I think the wheels have really kind of come off that camp. So it's not like you hear someone's coming from SBG Islands and you're like, yeah, that could be a real promising young fighter. And she's not young. 7 fights, 32 years old. Mate, I think I'm going to fucking pick her anyway, though,
Yeah. Well,
I
she's
don't
never
know.
tasted defeat. Listen, if she can, this is the truth with Lipsky. If her opponent can wrestle even a little bit, like just a little bit, she's fucked. She's absolutely fucked. Which is a shame because she's got some nice striking. But she's too upright. She's too easy to take down the way that she strikes. As soon as she misses one shot or one hook, the person's right at her waist and taking her down. She's the kind of fighter that needs to completely adapt her striking style for MMA. And I think she very much still has a Muay Thai base and philosophy to all of her striking. You got to be thinking about this stuff. I thought this was a bit of an issue with. Actually, no, even though Till lost, I thought you can kind of see him trying to address this with Derek Brunson. He was trying to get lower down, make sure he's not sort of having the guy come underneath him.
We haven't talked about it at all, actually, but the MCL tap.
ACL, sorry.
Like, as ACL, sorry. I mean, I
Explains a lot.
understand why the guy still took the fight. He hasn't fought in a while. You got to pay them bills, particularly if you're trying to get some expensive high-end surgery for an ACL tear. I don't know if he's doing that one on the NHS. So it does explain a lot. It's crazy when he tapped so quick. Part of me did think, injury. Well, I was thinking maybe collarbone or something. At the same time, we saw it with who's the fighter that got their knee trapped, their cartilage tore and locked, their leg was stuck at like a 90-degree angle, and they're on the ground and they were forced to roll over and couldn't defend.
can't remember. That sounds fucking horrible. I don't think I've seen that fight.
We did. It was like a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, are you talking about Modescus when he had his knee kicked? Or are you talking about Jamal Ahmed?
No. It's it happened and the fight carries on for like maybe another minute and a half. Oh, if I can't remember, I shouldn't bring it
I
up.
don't remember this. I think this might be one of the prelim fights that I missed.
No, we both saw the fight. We broke it down. It was a good fight. Ah,
oh, are you talking about the arm or the knee?
The knee.
I don't remember this.
It didn't come off like an injury. It was no, sorry, it didn't come off like an impact injury. It was like something that just kind of like happened, and their knee was basically locked. That's gonna kill me. I'll look it up.
I can't remember this. I can't remember this.
I'll come back for the breakdown with my findings. I apologize. Such a shitty way to compare something if you can't even remember what it was. I do apologize.
On the Till thing, I'd say if he damaged his ACL, it certainly explains why he didn't look as in good a shape as I was expecting to and didn't seem a bit fleshy. Explains a lot, man. It explains a lot.
Yeah.
And I can understand the frustration. He hasn't fought. He's had injuries. He's had to pull out of fights because of injuries.
Well, this is it. The question mark goes on. The question mark gets a little bigger. Very frustrating stuff. But we should fucking plow on through because I'm just in that mood today. I will go off on any kind of tangent.
Don't worry.
More on point. We've done 3 fights so far. I don't know how much this we recorded, but we're going for more than an hour. So
okay, let's speed this up.
We're inefficient last fight, apparently.
Sorry?
All right, Lipsky by KO decision.
I'll go decision.
All right. I'm going to go bomb.
No, you know what? I'm cutting all of that. I have no faith. Mandy bomb by decision. I'm changing U-turn. Fucking switcheroo.
Hey, well, we might as well carpool because I'm going the same direction. Bomb by decision.
Lightweights. Arman Sarukian against Christos Giagos.
Can I go off on a quick tangent real quick?
Yeah, of course.
It'll be a short one, I swear to God. Obviously, Sly's not going to watch this. So the next time we're doing picks, I'm going to drop that we might as well carpool because I'm going in the same direction. Don't act like I said it before. Act like it's the first time I said it. I'm just going to start making this my thing. I think that's a pretty cool catchphrase. Every superhero needs one. So
I like it.
That would be my quip. I've never watched this.
The closest I ever came to trying to come up with my own thing is instead of saying I'm going to make like a tree and leaf, I used to say I'm going to make like a Gareth and Bale.
Oof, that's pretty good. That's not too bad at all. We've got our by Dave, our by Laurie. You know what I mean? We've got our tagline. We've got our little like closer. But now I got a quip. Everyone should like it.
I like it. It's a good quip. You should be proud of that quip.
I was. That's why I was like, I'm going to drop this on Sly, and I need you to be in on it. You know.
Out of curiosity, had you pre-planned to use that quip before this show, or did it come to you in the spur of the moment now, and you want to try and maximize it for full effect when we've got the full crew?
Do you think I somehow Darren Browned you into using a car metaphor?
I think maybe you might have just been waiting for the opportunity. Like you had the setup and you were just waiting for that chance. You might have come up with it 3 weeks ago, and we just never said the word.
Looking on that smart, Matt. People this good looking on that smart. There's no fucking way I would have had that one in my pocket. No, that was just that was just a beautiful, spontaneous moment.
Oh, you should be proud of that moment. What you should also do is tell me a reason why I should not pick Sarukian to beat Giagos, because that's the only result I can see on our next fight.
I haven't got one, but let me attempt it because actually I quite like Christos Giagos. This guy, Jesus Christ, actually, I'm going back to it. You know, this guy has 4 losses in the UFC. 3 of those are Drakkar Klose, Charlie Olives, and Gilbert Burns. All right. No, do you know what I mean? Because in the back of my mind, I'm like, I like this guy a lot. He hasn't got the best record, but I like watching this guy fight. You know, he can bring it. The thing is, you know, his wins aren't against anyone too credentialed. You got against the Bosnian bomber Hadzovic. Got a unanimous decision there. Got a decision over Carlton Minus. Got that nice Dar strike against Sean Soriano last time out. That was on the Oliveira Chandler card, but the guy's a fighter. Kind of got like a wrestle heavy approach, but he can stand and bang. Obviously, he's got some submissions to his name. He's got 2 subs in the UFC already, but he's just a fucking gamer. He just comes out. He kind of fights to the level of the guy he's going up against. And for that reason, you might be tempted to believe that he could beat a guy like Sarukian. Or maybe a guy ranked like Sarukian. But the truth is, he's coming in on this one in like a week and a half's notice, 2 weeks' notice. When did Hack Faras pull out? I think it was literally last week.
Pull out? Because I thought that Hack Faras got booked to fight Dan Hooker instead.
No. This stupid motherfucker was angling for a fight with Dan Hooker when he already had one booked against Sarukian, which Dan Hooker was very frustrated and annoyed about. Dan Hooker was like, "Yeah,
they are fighting."
Is that actually happening?
Yeah. Like they're fighting in a week and a half time. They're fighting on UFC 266.
Well, that probably is the fucking reason then.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I looked up for Tapology. They were like, withdrew due to injury.
No, my understanding is that it's gone in the other direction. So Hack Faras was angling for a fight with Sarukian, but he already had the Dan Hooker fight booked. Or they were trading back some shit on Twitter or something like that. I might be wrong on that, but what I do know is Hack Faras is definitely fighting in a week's time. A week and a half time.
The much more likely candidate is that I fucked up who the original fight was supposed to be.
That feels like
it was supposed to be Hack Faras. Yeah, I've got it here. No, they were supposed to fight back in January, weren't they?
Okay.
Is this not a late notice replacement then? Because otherwise, it's a very surprising booking for Giagos.
Was there maybe a different guy? So maybe you're thinking that he was meant to fight Hack Faras, that got pulled out, but he then got booked to fight a different guy who's pulled out in the last week and a half.
Yeah, but Tapology would usually record that, and my memory's shit right now. We already cleared that one up, the knee injury. Sweet Jesus, I cannot remember for love nor money what the situation surrounding this fight booking is. Sarukian should definitely be getting to fight guys ahead of him rather than below. Fuck it though. All right, everything I said about Giagos still rings true, for sure. We're both picking Sarukian though, and I'm going to assume we're both going by decision.
I like this. You're doing my pick for me, and you are 100% correct. So well done.
Liberties taken. Yeah. Cross the line.
Giagos is a good fighter. Sarukian is a 24-year-old fucking wonder kid that's only going in one direction. I know there's always the chance that you're a Mercad Bektic. There's always that possibility. I don't see that from Sarukian. He's so dominant in his wins.
Yeah.
He's not just beating these guys. Listen, Matt Frivola is not the best fighter, but I mean,
he's all right though. He's all right.
He didn't have a fucking
him a lot. We pick him a lot.
He won one fight and he won me over, and I've lost like money on 2-3 consecutive occasions afterwards. But
we pick him a lot.
He didn't land a fucking punch against Sarukian practically in that fight. I mean, it was complete and utter domination. So yeah, I'm going Sarukian by decision.
Use the line. So I'm going Sarukian by decision. I just want to get some wear out of this. I'm
not stealing your line, man. Listen, buddy. It's like that sitcom that has a funny joke, and then they end up using it in every single episode. And by episode 4, you want to kill yourself. I don't want to overdo this joke. This is your line. It's your thing. When the moment comes, you're able to
overuse it.
Well, then you don't need me overusing it on your behalf. So by all means, claim that. I don't know if we're going to carpool on this next one though, because Nathan Manus taking on Tony Gravely. I like Tony Gravely. I like Tony Gravely in this weight class.
Yeah.
He looks dangerous. He looks powerful. He fucking sparked the guy in his last fight. Nathan Maness
finishes a lot of fights.
Does finish a lot of fights. But Nathan Maness is pretty fucking good, man. That Luke Sanders fight, as I had to look it up to remember who it was against, didn't look like he was going to win that, and then he pulled it back. So you can never really count this guy out. My worry is if he takes too many punches from Tony, I don't think he's going to have the same kind of time to recover and pull it back. I don't think you get those kind of mistakes against Tony Gravely.
Luke Sanders is not a good fighter. Luke Sanders makes a lot of stupid decisions and mistakes and errors, although he can be exciting. And Tony, he finishes fights. This guy, he's almost like a throwback, just exciting. He's very hittable, hits them back, does a lot of damage, ground and pound you out, or flash KO. Like, Gravely has some fucking power for flyweight. I like him a lot, man. I don't know. I think maybe we are going the same way.
I thought you were going to go Maness.
I like Maness, but I like Gravely more. And I'm pretty sure he's cornered by his missus. And it's just something about these fighters outside of Mike Perry. There's something about these fighters that are cornered by their missus or their husbands, where they just go to another level. I'm thinking Sam Alvey, the De La Rosas, Gravely, obviously. There's just something to it. Mike Perry's fucking the whole curve on that, though. But no one takes what he's doing seriously.
It's not that Mike Perry had issues having his girlfriend in the corner. He had his previous girlfriend / wife in the corner when he was winning fights. The issue is when his girlfriend is the only person in the corner. That's
Alvey
the differential. Alvey's...
I forget her name. Mrs. Alvey. She actually knows what she's talking about, though. And she's also his manager. And frankly, Sam Alvey has been fighting in the biggest organization in his sport for, I don't know, going on 2 decades. She's a pretty good fucking manager.
Yeah, he's on a 6-fight losing streak. And when Dana White was asked if he's getting cut, he basically spoke as if he's uncuttable, as if they'll never cut Sam Alvey. So she should be manager of the year. I mean, her and Jan's wife, who convinced the UFC to keep him in the UFC by saying that he's this big star in Poland.
I think they're even married. I think that's
fiance.
Like his girlfriend or fiance.
Fiance.
They might be married now because she's pregnant too, right? We don't go down that Alvey now.
She's had the kid.
Have a reasonable amount of kids. Don't do an Alvey. Don't have 5 and adopt 100. Like, just...
Yeah. Look at Ryan Fitzpatrick. He should have retired. NFL now. He should have retired, but he didn't. He chose to play for the Washington football team. Why? He's got 9 kids. He can't retire at 39. What the fuck are you talking about? Now he's fucked his hip badly. So, lesson learned. Don't have too many kids. Planet's fucked. Don't have too many kids. Simple.
Yeah, bad for your hips.
So, Gravely by knockout?
Yep.
Gravely by knockout.
I was going to pick first, so I didn't feel obliged to use the line. I'm going to wait till next week. Fuck it. If you won't say it, I'm not saying it again.
Okay. Joaquin Buckley is back to take on Antonio Arroyo. And this is a good fight. This is a good style fight. Buckley obviously burst onto the scene with that incredibly impressive win against Impa Kasanganay, knockout of the year. Yeah, the impressive win against, what's his name? Is it Nathan Wright? The Beverly Hills
Jordan Wright.
Jordan Wright, that's the one. Thank you very much. Looked very impressive. When you see the Kevin Holland fight, when you see the ADC fight, what you realize is he's too aggressive for his own good. He will get these knockouts because he's got power and he's putting himself in the danger zone. But he's going to get knocked out as many times as he knocks other guys out. I don't think Arroyo is the guy that's best suited to expose that. But I think the big issue for Buckley is that I'm not sure if middleweight's his best division. Not so much on a weight basis, but more on a height basis. His knockouts, the 2 knockouts he's suffered have both come from him trying to close the distance against long, rangy fighters. Kevin Holland did it with the straight. ADC did it with the high kick. And, Arroyo's tall. I don't
6-3.
think, I don't think it's going to matter. I do think Buckley's going to get the knockout, but I think this is going to be his real kryptonite, is unless he can get a real intuitive sense of understanding when it's safe to go in, setting the openings up. Particularly with those taller guys, it's a lot of distance that he's got to cover and a lot of time that they have to be able to land a counter shot and hit him with something. And he's not, throwing things down the middle. It's hooks, it's wild shots. It works, but I just think that unless he really improves technically, he's going to knock guys out and he's going to get knocked out. This, I think, is going to be a time that he gets, knocks the guy out. Next fight might be him getting knocked out.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair to say. Arroyo is very durable as well. Arroyo is not necessarily like a soft out. He's not an easy guy to put away. So I'm going Buckley KO. I really think that this is kind of a real opportunity for Buckley to continue to build and grow. Jesus, how many UFC fights has he had now? This is going to be fight number 5.
He's 2-2.
He's young. He's young enough. I'm really interested to see how he comes out in this one. If he can start adding some more wrinkles to his game and looking like a real MMA fighter, I could have a legit reason to be excited about him. But, like you say, he's not a huge guy. And if you are over aggressive and close the distance, you do leave yourself open. I think he's going to get a knockout. Arroyo is just not a stiff enough challenge. Buckley, I don't know. Do you reckon he could cut down to 170?
Yeah, I think so. He says he barely cuts weight to get to 185. And that's the only reason that I thought, because you look at his body frame and you think, man, if you're cutting to get down, I don't know how much more there is to go. But he's only, I think, 5'10" or 5'9".
Yeah, 5'10", but a 76-inch reach. To be honest, kind of prototypical for welterweight.
Yeah.
If the power comes with him.
I think it's a smarter move, because I just feel it's hard to say as well, though, because one thing I did think if you rewatch the Kasanganay fight, he's far more measured than he was against Kevin Holland. He's far more patient. And I think what happens is he gets this spectacular knockout. Then with Jordan Wright, he's a little bit apprehensive and then just explodes in, knocks the guy out. And then he kind of paid for that mistake. So I do wonder how much of it is a mentality side of things. I know the gym that he trains at, it's the same gym with Chaos Williams and a couple of other hard-hitting guys. I think light heavyweight, Jamal Hill trains there as well. I can't remember what the gym's called, but aggressive sparring. I wonder how many punches and bruises he's taking in sometimes as well. Maybe he's sparring too hard and softening his chin a little before the fight.
Yeah, wasn't he kind of asked to leave by Glory MMA as well? Then James Krause kind of sent him on his way
for being too much of an aggressive sparrer. Yeah, or it wasn't so much. I think he didn't kick him out. He just didn't accept him in. I think he realized the guy was looking for some aggressive sparring. So I do wonder, because one thing I did think is he went down pretty, it was a pretty quick knockout with Kevin Holland, and it was a pretty quick knockout once the kick lands with ADC. I mean, I think with the ADC kick, that's knocking 99% of the middleweights out when the kicks landed that well and you move into it. But it still looks, I did get the impression maybe he's got a softer, not a soft chin, but his chin's been softened with the way that he's sparring. And all of those guys, Jamal Hill, Chaos Williams, they're not holding anything back when they're doing rounds with you. And they're bigger guys as well. So I know Chaos Williams is at welterweight, but taller, hits hard as well. We'll see.
Quite possibly a bigger guy. If he's not cutting weight, quite possibly, because Chaos cuts some weight.
Yeah. So who knows? It's Buckley's career, but we'll see what happens on Saturday. I think if he gets knocked out or loses this fight, he should really consider it.
Oh, for sure.
Let's go run through the prelims quickly, because first fight's a lot of fun. We got Slow Mike Rodriguez is back. Obviously, it's been a couple of rough fights for him, the Anthony Sherman fight, and then his last outing. I can't remember who it was against, but he did not get the win.
Let me look it up.
I think he lost by
Danilo Marquez.
That's the one.
So, he basically beat Ed Herman. It was a submission. Got
That's the
choked
one.
out in the second round. So yeah, Ed Herman kind of cheated his way through a tough moment, and then managed to get a sub. And then yeah, Marquez gets the sub, and all of a sudden, Slow Mike's on a 2-fight skid, looking like a guy that doesn't really understand how to control a fight, where he can't just like land big and knock him out. But is that a fair assessment?
Well, it might be a fair assessment, but I don't think it's an assessment that's going to get him the largest amount of truffle when he takes on Tafon Nchukwi, who I think is going to come with a similar game plan. It's considerably smaller. I don't think he's going to be looking to tap out Mike. So I think this is Mike's to lose, if I'm honest. He should be able to control this fight. I don't think there's going to be as much of a grappling threat, and I don't think that he should be outstruck by this guy. I'm trying to remember Tafon Nchukwi. Who did he fight?
It was the Junyoung Park one.
Oh, that's right.
Park came out to the Rocky theme, Spearman, ear to ear, and then just fucking dominated. That was a fun fight. Not for Nchukwi, but for everyone else, that was a fun fight. Before that, the Jamie Pickett, Almatavo. He is the favorite in this fight. I looked up the odds earlier today, which kind of surprised me. I'd start to understand why Slow Mike's lost so much hype, because one of those fights is pure bullshit, and Ed Herman knows what he did, and the other one just kind of is what it is.
Also, Daniel Marquez is a beast.
Yeah, man.
I don't think anyone saw that coming.
It lost to Darren Young, fair enough. Devin Clark, we've already spoken about, but I still think like he shows something. The Marcin Prachnio fight was real nice. I'm picking Slow Mike, man.
I'm going to go Slow Mike as well. I'm going to go by knockout.
I've written down decision. I'm going to stick with it. Slow Mike by decision.
Right. We're going to talk in a bit more detail like we've been doing with the main card fights for this one. And then I think just because of the number of fights, we're going to fucking flow through them. Speed round. But let's give this some attention, because Pannie Kianzad against Raquel Pennington. This is a big fight in the women's bantamweight division. Pannie Kianzad is looking like she could be the next thing. Doing it the right way, step by step, not jumping ahead of herself, getting good wins, good performances against bigger and bigger names. This is a test. This is a different level. I'm looking through. I can't see a fight on her UFC record that I think is anywhere near the level of experience as Raquel Pennington.
I mean, technically, Betchka Hayter, but
Betchka Hayter
kind of fucking sucks, So, and I'd say Sujara Eubanks is underrated. I think that's like a good win, but other than that, yeah.
Also, you and me feel the same thing with Eubanks, which is that she's a different fighter at 25 than she is at 35.
Yeah, definitely.
So, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go, man. You go. I'm the one with the lag. I'll wait.
I was going to say, Raquel Pennington is having a real second wind at the moment. She had the horrific fight against Nunes, but since then, she's been solid. She had the loss against Holly Holm, where she kind of got held against the fence and was really frustrated, but she's had wins against, who is it?
Marion Renaud and
you.
Aldana.
Thank you. The Aldana win is a big one. You see what Aldana is starting to do, and that is what Rocky can do with her hands when she's in the right headspace. You look at what she's doing, you look at what Tisha Torres is doing. Something's going right between the two of them at the moment. They just seem to have everything else really well sorted outside of the gym. They're clearly in a good headspace. They're putting good hours in. They're improving. You could almost argue both of them are showing some of the best form and best, fights of their career.
Tisha for sure. Like that last Tisha Torres fight is the best I've ever seen her, ever. Full stop. And it kind of makes you excited, man. The other thing is, if you think about who Rocky's lost to, and it's okay. One of them's in a different weight class, but she's only ever lost to champions. Holly Holm, the Random A, Nunes, and Andrade. Now she's got 2 losses apiece to Holm and Andrade. And Andrade's the champion 2 weight classes below, but it's still Jessica fucking Andrade, bro. She's still a scary fucking lady.
Yeah, 100%.
So many reasons to be excited about this fight. It's clear fucking bullshit that this is on the prelims.
Yeah, it's disrespect to Rocky. I think Rocky wins this. I don't think it's going to be easy, though, because I think Kanzad is a little bit more technical. I think she fights better long. Rocky's going to have to close that distance, make it scrappy, and use her boxing. But I think that's what's going to happen. I think she's going to win by decision. I think this is going to end up being one of the best fights on the prelims.
Oh, definitely. I'm leaning the other way. I'm going with Pani. But there is that like little like Tisha Torres factor where it's like, well, Jesus Christ, if your wife is peaking, I mean, it's not like you're living different lives. So
this is what I mean. Confidence breeds confidence, and winning is a mentality. When you start getting into your home is a place of winning and confidence, and one person's making improvements, that inspires the other person to make improvements. It feeds off each other. I just feel like experience is a factor. I think Kanzad is going to be right up there by this time next year. I think this is that fight that she loses and then realizes, okay, that's where the level is of top 10, top 5, whatever. That's what I need to improve to. And then she goes on a roll. That's my prediction.
I like what you're saying. I think Kanzad, I think she gets it done on this one, though. I think she might be the underdog coming in, but you know, I really enjoyed watching her on the Ultimate Fighter. I've just seen her grow and grow and grow. Was she on a 3-fight streak? Something like that. I like this guy. I'm picking Pani by decision.
Strong pick. Very strong pick. Close fight. Could go either way. Definitely one of the most competitive fights on the prelims. Right, let me just bring this list back up, and we are going to power through this thing. So Dakota Bush against Zhu Rong. Go.
I couldn't think of them off the top of my head. And once I started looking up, I remember the fights. I like these guys. I'm gonna pick Bush by decision, but I think this is potentially a good fight.
I'm going Zhu Rong by decision, just to be different. Next,
nice.
2 debutantes. Nikolas Motter taking on Cameron Van Camp. What a great name. I'm picking Van Camp just on the name. I'm going by knockout. Why? Fuck it, that's why.
All right, well, I looked a little deeper. So I'm going Van Camp by submission. But the thing is, this dude hasn't made lightweight for a little while now, maybe 2.5 years. And he hasn't won a fight at lightweight for maybe like 3.5 years. Big dude, 6'2". If he makes the weight, I think grappler against the guy with what his record suggests is less than elite grappling defense and the longer frame, Van Camp, submission.
Boom. This fight will be fun, but one-sided.
Yeah.
Montel Jackson against JP Bays. JP
You're not
Bays.
Bays much of a chance here.
He came in with a lot of hype. Obviously, there was a couple of headbutts and things that might have affected him and the groin strike. I'm just really big on Montel Jackson, man. I think this guy is a fucking dude, and I don't... Unless he gets it to the ground, JP Bays gets fucked up really quickly and really badly. I don't see him taking Montel Jackson down to the ground.
No, I knew it was 5 inches height difference, but it's 8 inches reach difference.
Yeah.
And a guy like Montel Jackson can eat you up. So I think it's going to be a fun fight. One-sided in terms of strikes landed. I think JP Bays will be there till the end.
He's South African, so he's tough as shit. And
plus his wife, you know.
Yeah, true.
She'll follow you home, bitch.
Yeah. And she's got to win now, so he's got to start representing the other half, you know?
Yeah, you can't let her wear the trousers all the time. I'm going Jackson decision, though.
I'm going Jackson knockout. Right. Women's flyweight. I've never heard... I can vaguely remember Sarah Alper. I've never heard of Erin Blanchfield.
Yeah, coming over from Invicta, maybe? I can't remember now.
It makes sense. I don't know. You go first on this one. I'm sure I've seen a fight. It didn't leave an impression.
I did a little bit of homework, but I assumed we'd be flying through these quicker than this. I didn't think there'd be any justify your pick, Josh. I'm going
Oh,
Blanchfield by decision. I wrote it down. I'm sticking with it. I did
I'm
a
going
little bit of
Blanchfield by
research this
decision.
afternoon.
I'm going Blanchfield by decision. Younger, better record.
If you're
Easy.
gonna do it like that, use the line. God damn it!
I'm not using your line, Josh. It's your line. It's your line. Impa Kasanganay against Carlston Harris. Impa Kasanganay, I think, is a fantastic fighter. He made one mistake, got brutally knocked out, but none of that changes the fact that he has got bags of talent. Very technical striker, super young guy. Kasanganay by decision.
Yeah, man. I mean, Sasha Palatnikov, good fighter, subbed him. Maki Pitolo, at that point in time, did not look like the same fighter that he is now. But still, that's Maki Pitolo, God damn it. I fucking love coconut bombs. The guy's 4-1 in the UFC. The Joaquin Barkley one, kind of a fluke knockout. Fuck it, is what it is. I like Kasanganay too, man. I'm going Kasanganay by KO.
Nice. Second last fight up, Gustavo Lopez against Haley Alateng. Alateng lost his last fight to Casey, but I think this guy's pretty good. I think that was unlucky.
Yeah.
Casey's a good fighter. Gustavo Lopez, I have not done very good research today. Oh, that's right. He lost.
If you look at the picture of him, you'll remember him. He's had a shit ton of UFC fights. He is a fun fighter. He just doesn't win as many as you might like him to win.
Yeah.
Well, what we're talking about, 3 UFC fights, but dating all the way back to 2020, which probably was a long time ago in my drug-addled little brain. But I remember the Marab-Davishvili fight was good. The Burchak fight was good. The Yanez fight was good. Alateng, though, I kind of rate. I think this guy, looked good against Benoit, didn't look bad against Kenny. I don't remember the Batgarel fight at all. Andrade versus Shang, kind of a long time ago, 2019. That's 1 year further back than 2020. God damn it, man! I think it's got to be Alateng, right?
I'm going to go Gustavo Lopez on this one.
Fair enough. I don't even know what the odds are.
Lost to Dashvili and Yanez. Those are 2 pretty fucking tough guys. I don't know how much of a representation that makes. And Haley Alateng looked good against Casey Kenny, but I can't remember his win. I've only seen him lose, so it's hard to kind of break that mentality in your mind.
The Benoit one was good. He what was it? He choked him out, or split decision. All right, so it was an all right fight. Chinese fighter, when he gets his takedowns, he's quite a controlling, lethal guy. Not much of a striker. Gustavo Lopez fights with his heart on his sleeve. It's hard to pick a bad Lopez fight. I don't really think he had any shot against Davishvili, but an outclass in the Yanez fight, just looking at the stats here. But I don't know. I like the guy. I don't think Lopez is a bad pick at all. I'm still sticking with the Chinese boy.
I'm going Lopez by decision. Last fight on, Hannah Goldie taking on Spitfire Whitmire. Spitfire Whitmire up at flyweight now after her hospitalization, trying to make strawweight. I don't rate Whitmire that much. I don't know that much about Goldie, but I'm just going to pick Goldie because I don't rate Whitmire. It's that simple. Goldie by decision.
I don't think Whitmire is great. I think she's good. Goldie, I think has been really disappointing since coming into the UFC. He lost to Marina Granger and Belbita. I'll go Whitmire by decision.
Fair enough. Final fight. Brendan Schaub against Ariel Helwani. Not a UFC fight, though. It's a fight only contested in shit-talking on the internet.
Well, Brian Callen probably gives him all his best shit, so I'm going to go with Schaub. Ariel Helwani's default counter is to film an episode of his podcast where he's crying. I know he seems to have toughened up a little bit since Chael Sonnen has known him, but
he's calling himself Helwani now.
Yeah, I know, but he is a bitch. He is a little bitch of a man. He has an awful interview technique. I really I think calling him a journalist is how people must have felt when tabloid papers first came out, and they were like, "These aren't broadsheets." That's how I feel. I get some old Victorian English accent, just like, "He's not a journalist. He's a fucking dickhead, mate." Ariel Helwani can suck a dick. Brendan Schaub, bit of an idiot. I like him. I think he's funny. I understand why lots of people don't like him. I understand why lots of people think he just sucks Joe Rogan's dick and that's his whole career. I think it's very unfair. I get it. I understand why people don't like him. He's infinitely smarter, more interesting, more knowledgeable than Ariel Helwani. And it's how you say he's got a sharper wit. It's not bringing a gun to a knife fight. It's bringing, I don't know. It's bringing a snowball to a super psycho fight. You know, they're both kind of pathetic, but Brendan Schaub clearly has an advantage here. He's got that pump action water pistol shit, and Helwani's hands are getting cold, and you know he better throw it soon. That's the last one he's got.
Did you hear about what ignited their feud? Are you aware of the story?
It boils down to one thing. It's not just like years and years of hatred.
Oh yeah, so basically, no, this is all blown up. So Brendan Schaub's podcast, he's talking about an interview that Ariel Helwani did where he was like, oh, ESPN kind of sidelined me and I was always mistreated by the UFC ever since the Brock Lesnar incident and all this kind of stuff. And Brendan Schaub just said, listen, got no issue with Ariel, never worked with him, don't know the guy. He's a real journalist. I'm just a shit talker fucking making jokes on YouTube. We're not the same thing. Like, he does this for real. I'm just like a fucking hype guy.
He called Helwani a real journalist?
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious.
So,
he's getting better.
So, but then he said that what he'd heard is that according to people that he knew that worked with him at ESPN and throughout his career, he said he's not a team player or not a great team player. Can be a bit difficult to work with. Luke Thomas fucking hates him. Won't say why, but like despises him from when he worked there. A lot of fighters have been rubbed up the wrong way. There was a situation with the Brock Lesnar thing where he said, listen, from my understanding, he was told not to say anything. He did, yada, yada, yada. Okay. So Helwani's responded now that he's got his own show back and he's doing his own thing and basically just completely called it out, kind of shout all over Brendan Schaub. And Brendan Schaub then apparently sent him a direct message to apologize. Just like, hey man, I didn't really mean to offend you. Like, sorry about it. And then Helwani's response was like, oh, can you believe this? Private message. This guy goes on his show, puts all of this shit out there for the whole world to see. No. I tell you what, High Road Helwani would have just said that's okay and let it go. But no, you want to apologize, Brendan? You've got to do it publicly. I want it on my show. I want it on your show.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah. I'm going to pick Helwani because I think he cares more. And I think Brendan Schaub's just going to get to a point where he goes, I don't care. I'm going to stop caring about this. And Helwani won't. I think that will be the difference.
I don't know. Yeah, but I think that when we get to that point where you're judging it, you're going to be like, Brendan Schaub said some funny things and Helwani just acted like a bitch.
Yeah,
true. It's going to be hard to claim the victory at that point. Nah, maybe fuck so. Ariel. Fuck Ariel so hard.
Fuck Ariel. Final pick, Machine Gun Kelly versus One-Legged Conor.
Well, as I understand it, it's really Conor McGregor against Megan Fox, and Machine Gun Kelly was just doing the dignified thing and backing up his girl. But so I understand. I don't know what the tone of the messages were, but fuck Facebook rapey slides into Megan's DMs, and then later on asks Machine Gun Kelly for a photograph. At which point, fucking Julie face is all like, "Fuck you, mate." Cracking onto my girl like that, and then you just want a fucking picture. Go fuck yourself. And then the cokehead with the one leg, you know, throws his fucking toys at his pram and looks a cunt again. Just, I'm gonna pick Machine Gun Kelly because I feel like he already won it.
He went home with Megan Fox. He definitely is winning. It doesn't matter what the competition is. That man is winning.
And I'm not saying anything about D Devlin here. I think she's a beautiful woman, and clearly the patience of a fucking saint. But
yeah, but she doesn't list sex as the top of her hobbies on her fucking profile page.
What profile page is this for Megan Fox?
I don't know, but in interviews, she's
OnlyFans? No, what is it?
No, generally in interviews, she said that her favorite pastime and hobby is to fuck her boyfriend. So it's how she spends 90% of her free time.
Sounds exhausting. No,
well, she's in good shape for a reason. Man. And on that note, I don't think there's anything else to talk about. Any news that you want to cover quickly?
Nah, I mean, if I'm honest, I didn't want to talk about Triller or McGregor at all, but I feel like we handled it the right way. There's nothing really outside of maybe just everybody watch Bellator, watch Sol Rogers, support our exports. Who are you picking, Romero or Phil Davis?
Phil Davis.
I'm picking Phil Davis too.
That's this over this. Because I just think to myself, Romero's 45 years old. He probably is older.
205.
This is 205.
He's definitely older. He's definitely older.
I'm sure that 5 years ago, he would have been the type of, or even 3 years ago, he would have been the type of guy that extra 20-pound allowance would have made a big difference in his cardio output and performance. I think at the age that he's at, it's not going to translate into the increased kind of output that people are maybe thinking it would. And I think unless he was to transform himself into a high-pressure volume striker mixing in takedowns, I don't think the power is going to be the same. The reach isn't going to be the same. I think he's just going to be beaten up by tall, big people.
Yeah. And Phil Davis is huge.
Yeah.
And a beast.
The Rumble fight made more sense because Rumble's obviously hits like a fucking Mack truck. But the reach, the size, the range, all this kind of stuff, I think favored, and coming back off the layoff for a long time.
Yeah, the conditioning.
All of these factors, Phil Davis is he's been active, he's been winning, apart from the Nemkov fight.
So yeah, was 2 losses to Nemkov, 2 to Bader. Who the fuck else has he lost to in his career? Not a lot. Dude's a fucking gamer as well.
So I'd be surprised I'd love to see Romero pull out a win, but I'd be very surprised if that happened. If anything, I think we're going to see Romero get knocked out for the first time in his career.
Maybe. I'm thinking Davis by decision, but Davis all day long. All right, bud.
Agreed.
I've got a Bournemouth game to go watch.
Bye, Dave. Bye, Laurie. Bye, Truther. Enjoy the fights, guys. Bye, Catch you next week.